Hey people, this is Conrad Layn here. Just actually right in front of my Lincoln MKZ. Here she is, the Lincoln. And what I'm gonna do, people, is this is the vehicle I actually was in quite the situation where it had a factory recall when I first acquired the vehicle. So I don't recommend, and just my personal opinion, I don't recommend people starting off to actually add on a vehicle that has a factory recall or to purchase a vehicle that has a factory recall unless the strategy makes sense to you, and unless you're in a situation where maybe you got the car for free or a very great discount. Even then I don't recommend, because it's very time consuming, takes time, which in my opinion is worth it if you have a proper strategy. Like this Lincoln did take time for me to actually add on, but it is on. It's been on for a few months already, and it's been booked, and it's actually going out later on tonight. So I'm really happy about that. So it's really cool. It's been worth it. But it was a calculated decision. So let me get right into it. If you're going to decide to actually add on a vehicle that has a factory recall status, say you buy a car and it has a factory recall and you know that, and you still want to add it on, this video is going to help you guys. For those that purchase a car by mistake, which happens quite a bit, sorry, sun's in my eyes, people. If you purchase a car and you don't do your due diligence and you find out later on, oh, it has factory recall, this video will also help you. And this video will really help also even people on the Turo host who have cars listed and they become factory recall status, meaning that they actually are granted some type of factory recall because maybe they have some type of issue with the vehicle. So if that's the case and you fall in any one of those three categories, if you're a host who has a vehicle and it becomes factory recall status, or if you're a host who doesn't do your due diligence and just acquired or purchased a vehicle not knowing it had a factory recall, or if you're that host who's like me, where you knew the vehicle had a factory recall but it made sense strategy wise, maybe you got it for a good price, maybe it just makes perfect sense to you, this video is for you. So the first thing you must do, I'm going to actually show you guys how to do a deep dive on how to do this. It's very simple and won't take too much time. So stay tuned, guys. Watch the video. Currently now. Hey everyone, so thank you for following me into this video. As I mentioned, I don't recommend for most people to actually add on a vehicle that has a factory recall due to the fact that it's very time consuming, and that's just money sitting there. But for those that are brave of heart or that made a mistake, or like me, like I said, who just made a calculated decision, here's some additional information. First, you'll want to go to the website that you see up there, www.nhtsa.gov. I'm going to leave links below on how to do this and how to properly, effectively solve the factory recall if you want to do that. Again, if I don't highly recommend this, and I don't recommend this at all, but if you do choose to do it like I did, because it's a calculated decision and fits your strategy, or if you just made a mistake and bought a car without doing your due diligence and found out, hey, oops, it has a factory recall, or if you have a car on the Turo platform and then it gets a factory recall on it, and then Turo unlists your vehicle, this is a great way to help you solve it as soon as possible. So let me scroll down here. So you'll see that National Highway Traffic Safety Administration is what the NHTSA, they're the ones that govern and who you can actually report to. They're a government agency that you can actually report to, and people can report to when there's a factory recall on a vehicle or some type of safety issue. They notify you. You can even sign up for alerts, and you can download their app as well. But essentially what you want to do is, the first thing when you go to purchase any car, if you buy it, lease it, finance it, dealerships, it's not illegal for them to sell a vehicle that has a factory recall on it to you. Happens all the time. A matter of fact, they do have a right to notify you of any issues, but they can still sell it to you. Not a problem, because just because it has a factory recall doesn't mean that it's not drivable. And essentially they actually allow you to take it to a dealership to usually get it fixed for free. So there's no problem. So cars like this are sold all the time. And I've seen too many times, I met a few hosts who have purchased cars and they did not do their proper due diligence and found out that they could not even add it to Turo. So imagine buying a car, spending your money on it, or financing it or leasing it, and figuring out it has a factory recall on it. You can't even use it, and now you can't even use this car. You have payments on, so now you're underwater. You owe on this car that you're not making any money on, and it's just sitting there for 1 to 3 months. Big problem. So to avoid this, people, go to NHTSA. You could check here on this website if there's a factory recall on your vehicle per se. And then if there is, don't buy the car or make a calculated decision. Another way you can do it, you go to carfax.com. I'll leave the link below as well. You can put your VIN number here. And what you do, anytime a dealership or a person sells a car to you, doesn't matter if it's through a personal, a private party, doesn't matter if it's through online sale, doesn't matter if it's through the dealership in person, you always have access to get the VIN number. Just get the VIN number, put it in here, and you'll figure out if there is a factory recall on it. It'll list it. And I'm actually going to show you guys how I solved my factory recall and how I went about it. You can copy the same steps I did, and I was able to get it done within 30 days. And that's usually about the average, but it would have taken, I think, a bit longer if I didn't hop on it right away. But I'll show you step on step. The average is about 30 to 60 days. Sometimes it can take 90 days, but mine took about 27 days approximately. So it's pretty cool. I got it, and it's been booked back to back for the last like over 3 months now. But going forward, you go to this website, Carfax, you put it in, and there's another one that's actually governed by Experian. It's actually called AutoCheck. This website right here, I'm gonna leave the link below. You go here. Now the problem with AutoCheck, Experian, and also Carfax, they're phenomenal. You have to pay for them. So typically what I would recommend doing is most dealerships will give you a free Carfax report or Experian AutoCheck report. Just use that and you see if it says factory recall on it. And if it says factory recall on it, stay away from it. Don't purchase it unless you really want to and you make a calculated decision, but at least do your due diligence. And last but not least, the best way to do it, regardless of if you see there's a factory recall on the Experian auto check report or the Carfax report, or even if it doesn't show up in the NHTSA website, the best way to do it, put the VIN number into Turo. You could go shopping all day long, just shopping around, and you don't have to buy anything. Just put the VIN numbers. That's what I do. Put the VIN numbers all in, and make sure they populate and show that that Turo accepts it. Turo will actually notify you if it's not accepted. Let me show you how that looks, actually, people. As I mentioned, this really happened to me. This is the screen you'll see. If you put a vehicle into Turo and there's no, and it has a factory recall, regardless if it doesn't show on Carfax, the other main government website, or Experian Auto Check, this screen will populate. That's where it says, we're sorry, we've turned up an open safety recall. So if all else fails, and you just don't, and you forget, or hey, you forget to check Carfax, you forget to check Experian Auto Check, you forget to check the government website that governs this, do one favor for yourself. Just get the VIN number, put it into Turo, and if it populates and states that there's a safety recall, run away from it or make a calculated decision, and at least you understand going forward. That's how you do this, people. Now let me go get further and elaborate in this. So this was the Carfax that way back in January when I purchased this vehicle. One open recall. See that right there? One open recall. That's back in January. Right there, people. One open recall. So now I have a decision. And this was a free Carfax. And that's part of the situation. If you go to Carfax or Auto Check Experian, you have to pay for it. But like I said, a free way to do it, you just go to the dealership and have them give you a free report. Or if you're buying it from a private party, purchase your Carfax yourself, or negotiate that negotiate that into the price where the person selling it gives you a Carfax themselves, or you buy it yourself. Give yourself peace of mind and see if there's an open recall. And if all those fails, you don't want to spend any money, use Turo. Turo heavily uses Carfax. They actually base it off of Carfax. They say this themselves. So they're a phenomenal company. They do a lot of research to make sure these cars are safe. And Carfax is one of the main sites that they utilize to figure out if you have an open recall. If it's not cleared on Carfax, it's not going to be cleared on Turo. If it's not cleared in the government agency website, it's not going to be cleared on Carfax. It's all steps, people. Sorry if I'm giving way too much information. I just want to make it as concise as possible, but it's a bit hard. Just really want to make sure you guys get it. Check the reports, the Carfax, the Experian Auto Checks, check the governmental agency. If there are any road recalls, always before you purchase a car. And if you don't do that, you can make a mistake and buy the wrong one, and you're sitting for 1 to 3 months waiting for it to get cleared. Next, what you have to do, you take the car immediately, as soon as you see there's a recall on it, as soon as you find out, to the dealership that's offering open recall assistance, and they do the repairs at no additional cost to you. It's absolutely free. The sooner you do this, the better. So it typically takes 30 days. It could take upwards to 90 days, even half a year to get a car cleared. The reason why? Because first, there are a lot of auto recalls. Second, they might not have the parts on hand. Third, you have to wait for them. Fourth, there's other people before you. So do it as fast as possible, ASAP, as soon as possible, to get this taken care of, people. As soon as you found there's a recall, if you're going to make a purchase, or if you already purchased a car and made a mistake and didn't do your due diligence, get it checked immediately, people. Right away. Get an appointment. Please. And in that way, however, you get in line, then you get to your appointment. Take your car there immediately. Do not lag it. They'll start working on it. They'll notify you. And once they repair it, even then, it takes about additional 10 to sometimes 30 to 45 days for it to show on the governmental agency's website that it's actually been fixed and solved. And then they allow Carfax to notify, then they notify Carfax and all the other distributors that distribute Carfax reports and reports of that sort. And then they notify Turo. So Turo's the last in line because Turo waits for Carfax. Carfax waits for the governmental agency. So please, the longer you wait, that's why I don't recommend adding on factory recall vehicles, but there are sometimes, what if you get the car for free? What if you get it for a deep discounted price? It might make sense. There might be some type of strategy. I did it, and it's been working out phenomenally. So it's a loved vehicle. So I mean, please, people, do your best. I love you guys. You guys are my YouTube family. I just want to do my best to give you legitimate, real content. I'm a real guy, really doing this. Please, if you like the content, please like, subscribe, hit that bell, and I'm gonna keep on giving more content. I'm a new YouTuber, just want to do my best to give the content. So this is Conrad Layn, and last but not least, this is the email. I actually emailed Carfax. This is an additional step I do. The reason I do this, okay, first, like I said before, you want to contact the governmental agency first. They're the ones that govern everything. But what I do is I also contacted Carfax, and I composed a simple message. I put the proof that I took the vehicle. I notified that it's already been resolved. I did that so I could put a timestamp on it, so that if it starts taking too long, I can actually start sending reports to the governmental agency stating, hey, I notified Carfax. I also documented this, and then I send them an email as well. And look here, it shows resolved. What did I say, people? March 4th. It was already resolved before. It was resolved back in February. But this was delayed, like probably additional like 20 to 25 days that I had to wait for this to show up on Carfax or whatever. But it wasn't a problem because since I documented it and I tied it into the governmental agency, I was able to show proof and get my car resolved a lot faster on the Turo side. Because even though Carfax did not notify me until this point, they showed in their system internally that the car was already resolved. But before, like say if you actually bought the report, it still would show the delayed old status that it was an open recall still. But internally, I was able to get approved by Turo because internally Carfax resolved it because the governmental agency resolved it as well. A lot of information, I know, but that's pretty much what I'm just trying to show you guys. Let me show you one more piece. And what you want to do as well, you can actually mail the NHTSA governmental agency, but that takes a bit longer, and they even recommend you to send an email. Watch, when you click over here, mail sent to, they even tell you right here in this little message that they stated, they give you the email and they say, you know, it'd probably be better if you just email us. It's a lot faster, but you could do both, mail it, and then they even recommend that you could, if you mail it, you know, hear from them, then send them an email as well. And you simply do that. You send it. And that's it. So that's how you do it, people. Have a good day. Conrad Layn out.